0, receiving on order, please correct, X4315 heavy.
sequence activated. Self-destruct in T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Self-Destruct Sequence podcast. Filling in for more fun, I am Ron Clee. Today is Sunday, April 16th, and you're watching episode 48, or listening, as the case may be. And to start off, we have a little bit of news for the past month. Of course, we've been kind of missing in action for a bit, just not a whole lot going on. Descent Underground just recently, within the past week, released a new build. This is build 3214. They call it Lube Job. The stuff writes itself, I swear. But a couple interesting things that they have in here is that they've changed the flight model a bit. They've added more rotational acceleration, so it's faster to turn, but they've decreased the transitional acceleration, which means to get to full speed in any direction takes a bit longer. So it's kind of changed the way that you can react a little better to something to your, around you, but you really are going to have a little more trouble dodging things because you're not going to be able to move as fast in any given direction. So, very interesting set of changes. Hopefully it does well for them. They've also updated the mouse controls as well. They've added something called mouse inertia, something to take a look at. They recommend that you turn it on if you have a mouse, so go ahead and check that out if you're a mouse user. And one minor change over in their survival mode, the bots, they used to stick around when you finish claiming an area. Now they'll self-destruct and you'll just go to the next round. So, a couple of quality of life changes there. But overall, not a whole lot. They did have a couple additional bug fixes. There were a bunch of them. I didn't list them here, but you can check that out over at descentunderground.com. Also, Overload, also starting to get some more releases. Their early access build now has a playable single-player level with some of their new... they have a lockdown event going on. They have some materialization centers, some things like that. It's definitely worth checking out. That's over at playoverload.com. And one last note, the game Chromaya, and actually there's a version of it on PlayStation 4 called Chromaya Omega. The artist for the music on that, Josh Welchel, has released his music via soundtrack over to Bandcamp. You can also find it on your regular distribution centers such as Spotify, etc. Definitely check that out. It's some really good space synth music. Has that dramatic tone to it. So it's really good soundtrack. Definitely worth checking out if you're into game soundtracks at all. Moving on to the community news. The Descent Rangers, of course, they're still going on with their bi-weekly events. The next event coming up will be next weekend. It's called Omega Man. And this will have 3 to 4 players playing in a map called Keg Party. Very familiar map for those that play D2 and D3. This will be on D2. And they're switching it to insane difficulty with all weapons disabled, except for the Omega Cannon. So, very interesting way to play the game there. Omega, not typically a weapon that the Rangers play with. In fact, they have it disabled in most of their rule sets. But for this particular one, you'll be playing with that Omega Cannon and doing whatever you want. So, definitely check that out. That'll be Saturday, the 22nd, next week, 3 p.m. Eastern and noon Pacific. Moving on to the Observatory. Of course, we wrapped up the Observatory last month with Jedi Luke defeating Sirius once again in the finals, this time in a much more convincing fashion. Did not lose the first game this time, and managed to win Season 2. Undefeated. Went 12-0 in the regular season and won both of his playoff games as well. So congratulations to Jedi Luke. Of course, we'll have Season 3 beginning Saturday, May 6th. We're moving it back an hour. It's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and that's largely to accommodate Rangers games that happen around noon Pacific, so that'll give them 2 hours to play, and then they can jump right into the Observatory. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of people playing then. And then moving on to the Descent Champions ladder, of course, the early season, DCL early 2017 season, will be ending 2 weeks from today, Sunday, April 30th. And get your games in before then. There's still a lot of time to make some noise on the ladder, so go check that out. And let's go ahead, get into the meat of the show. And this is, of course, we've been missing for 4 weeks, so there's 4 weeks worth of matches to talk about. That is 334 total matches. The most active series has been between silver and bronze. They have played, goodness, looks like 113 matches in the past 4 weeks. Of note, gold versus gold, only three matches played. That is, I mean, we've talked about gold activity being on the downswing, and one of the things that we also wanted to point out with that is that with that lower activity, they have allowed the Diamond pilots, Jedi Luke and Mark 39-2, to participate in any gold challenges. So they're showing up in the challenges again. So definitely a lot to talk about there. And we did, in fact, have 4 promotion challenges, I believe, in the past 4 weeks. 4 challenges. We'll get to those as we come across them. I'm trying to find them all. I remember... I remember one of them just didn't happen. I think, and we'll get to some of these as we go along, though. So let's get right into it. We'll talk about we'll start with, we actually have an unrated section this week. Pygmy showing up for one game. Welcome back to Pygmy. He's of course one of the more active blue pilots, Blue Lightning pilots in the Rangers. So good to see him around some more. And then we head over to New Zealand, where SDF Jeff and PP Sky are playing the heck out of each other. Their series is tied right now at 3-3. PP Sky picking up 2 close wins, one 20-15 with 4 suicides in Valor, and an overtime win 22-20 in Nerve. And SDF Jeff picking up a couple wins of his own, all of them close, 20-17 in Contest, 20-18 in Logic, and an overtime game 21-19 in Seaworms Antbend. Good to see that level coming up. Raptor showing up for 5 games. Let's say hello to him. Also a new pilot, Juggle Master, and another new pilot as well, Royos as well. Of note, Royos has played 33 games in the past 4 weeks. That's a large number. More than one per day, that's for sure. And I think he only joined like a week or 2 ago. He's got 2 wins this week, both versus the currently bronze, formerly unrated Juggle Master, with a close game 20-15 in Descent 2's Axis. So he also has a couple interesting threatening scores on silver pilots as well, including 15-20 loss in Neptune to Lee, a 15-20 loss in Mega Pillbox X4 to Lee, that's with 9 suicides. And then probably what is the most ridiculous match I've ever seen played on the Descent Champions ladder, 17-20 loss to Skywarp with 25 suicides. Why are there 25 suicides, you ask? Because the level? For Descent 2, Shaker Pillbox. Yeah, that'll do it. 25 suicides. Yeah, I figure that game would probably end in more suicides than anything. Lido 2 also showed up playing 32 games. Nothing to speak of, but glad to see him playing. Maestro also playing in the past 4 weeks. Maestro has played 103 games. That means he has been a part of approximately 1/3 of the DCL in the past month. Congratulations to him. Picking up some close wins. 20-15 over Raptor and Logic. 21-19 versus Lido 2 in Raytuman. 22-20 over Royos with 13 suicides in, of course, D2 Shaker Pillbox. 20-16 versus Royos in D2 Pink Mist with 8 suicides. That's a lot of suicides, probably mega missiles there. 20-17 versus Lido 2 in UG. 20-15 versus Lido 2 in Remix as well. Picking up some interesting trophies as well, getting the bronze Shaker trophy, picking up the a couple times actually. So also picking up that Fusion trophy as well. He's got a couple of dominations against the bronze tier as well. 20-9 versus Lido 2 in Salute. 20-10 versus Lido 2 in Nocturnal. 20-9 versus Royos and Lurk. 20-10 versus Lido 2 in Hilbert. 20-7 versus Lato 2 in Bluebird. That's a dogfight trophy match, by the way. 20-9 Lato 2 in Lurk, and 20-10 over Lato 2 in the Cannery. Wow, that level, I haven't seen that come up in a while. Also, Maestro, you play 103 games, you're going to be making some noise in silver. How about these close games? 15-20 versus Lee, losing that one in Vamped. Losing 15-20 to Lee and Nysa, 15-20 to Lee and Fused. Also 15-20 to Skywarp and Crimson. Another 15-20 game against Lee and Logic. 16-20 versus Phyrix in Salute. 15-20 versus Lee and Crimson. Pair of 16-20 games against Lee and Neptune and Salute. Pair of 15-20 games versus Phyrix and Rip in Crimson. A 17-20 game against Lee in Ascend. 16-20 versus Lee in Bluebird. 19-21 overtime loss to Lee in Killbox. A couple 18-20s, one against Lee in Blackout and one against Skywarp and Vamped. A 16-20 loss against Lee in Barathrum. 15-20 loss against Lee in Logic, and another one in Lurk, and a 17-20 loss against Lee in D-Box. These are all a bronze pilot getting threatening scores on silver pilots. So all those games, very noteworthy for him. But he hasn't stopped there. He also has 4 dark horses, picking up a 20-16 win over Lee in Vamped, a 20-16 win over Lee in Rumble, a 20-17 win over Lee in Salute, and another 20-17 Lee in Rumble, and he's still not done. He has a threatening score against a gold pilot, picking up a loss, but it's still 16-20 versus Rethink in Lurk. Fantastic score there, being put up by Maestro. And then Naleski, who was our last episode, he was our darling pilot because he took out that bronze gold dark horse. But not having so much luck this week. Only picking up 1 win this week. It was a close game, too. In bronze, it was a 24-22 win overtime against Maestro in Audacity. Also picked up the threatening score against Silver Pilot Hyper, 16-20 in Nysa. But currently, if you check out the DCL standings, Naleski, that's enough to keep him at the top bronze spot. So congratulations to him. And we're going to move on to silver, where we find Silver Pilot Merle making a return to the ladder, picking up 6 games in the last week, including a very close overtime win, 21-19 against Ernie, 39-2 in Logic X2. Moving on, it looks like I played a couple games this week, but who cares? There's Lady Silver as well, picking up, playing 34 games in the last month. Picking up a win, close game against B2AF, 20-16 in Crimson, and 2 threatening scores against Morphod, one 15-20 in Take 2, and 17-20 in Audacity, both versus a gold pilot. P-Funk showing up for 1 game. Hello, how you doing? Also, Lothar bot back for 3 games, including a dominating win over bronze pilot Royals, 20-3, with no suicides in Lurk. And probably what might in any other game of the week candidate, a 22-24 loss in a threatening. So congratulations to Lothar for putting up such an excellent score there. He noted, I believe that was their 10th or 20th overtime game. I don't remember. It was close. I can look at it. That's 20th. So their 20th overtime match. So they play a lot of overtime. But good score for Lothar there. Moving on, we have Swarthy playing 7 games in the past month, picking up a dominating win against Lee, 20-8 in Flea. And then Lee, 88 games in the last month. Several close games in the Bronze Division. We mentioned all those already, but also had a couple dominations, 20-4 versus Royos in Nysa, 20-5 over Royos in Megarath X4. And then in Silver, picked up 4 wins this week, all of them in close games, 20-16 versus Swarthy and Flea, 20-15 versus Skywarp and Neptune X5 for the Descent 2 trophy, 20-17 versus Phyrix and Fused, and an overtime win, 21-19 in Vamped. And also a threatening score on Melvin in Take 2. That's a good one, 15-20. Well done, Lee. Hyper also being around for 22 games, picking up a ton of dominations against Bronze Pilot Lato 2, 20-2 in Fused, 20-4 in Flea, 20-5 in Junebug, and 20-2 in Black Rose. Also picked up 3 wins in the Silver Division, a close game, 20-15 versus Lee in Descent 2 Greenland Pro, and a dominating win in UG, 20-6. Hyper whipping out that fusion. Well done. Skywarp also around for 18 games in the last month. 3 undefeated against Bronze, 11-0, and a close win over Lee, 20-15 in Mind Tricks, going 1-4 in that division. And then B2AF also coming around for 11 games, picking up 4 wins in silver, 3 close games, 20-18 versus Lee and UG for the Fusion Trophy, 20-16 versus Lady Silver in Ascend, and an amazing 26-24 overtime victory over Phyrix in Crimson. Speaking of Phyrix, he's been here for 35 games, picking up a dominating win, 20-5 over Bronze Pilot Lato 2, and going 6-2 in silver, including 5 close games, 20-17 over Hyper and Mind Tricks, an overtime 24-22 versus Lee and Ascend, 20-16 versus Lee and Mind Tricks, 21-19 versus B2AF overtime in Agile, and 20-16 versus Lee in Control. Also, with a nice gold-threatening score over against Vaniac, losing 17-20 in Mind Tricks. And then the top silver pilot of the week is going to go to Ernie. 39-2 has made his comeback, picking up several dominating scores over bronze pilots, including a shutout 20-0 against Jugglemaster and Athena X2, also 20-3 against Jugglemaster and Vamped X2, 20-3 over Nileski in Athena, and I believe that was supposed to be a challenge match for Nileski. He did not play enough games to qualify for that to finish up. And then 20-2 versus Maestro with 1 suicide in Athena. Moving on to silver, he has a dominating win against fellow silver pilot 20-7 in Athena X4. And the dark horses in gold, how about 20-13 over Rethink and Mind Tricks, and the Dark Horse domination, 20-8 over Rethink in Flea. Also had a close game in there, a third game against Rethink. Didn't quite get it, but threatening score nonetheless, 17-20 in Tangent. Aside from that, one of the things that I missed on here was Phyrix was offered a gold promotion challenge recently, and had to play 5 games. 2 of them were against Jedi Luke and Mark 39-2. Managed a -7 combined against them, with Mark being the big bully there, 20-5 with 5 suicides, gave him a -5. But he had some good games against Vaniac, Soldier, and Bahamut, but it wasn't enough to overcome the -7. He ended up -4 on the promotion challenge, so Phyrix will remain in silver for now, but I would not expect that to last for long. Just judging on the way he's been playing in the observatory has been just amazing. So, too bad for Phyrix, but hopefully we'll see him back up there soon. So we'll move on to the gold division, where Bahamut's come around for 2 games, but not really playing anyone near him. Morphod around for 34 games, almost undefeated. He's 33-1 in the past couple weeks. He's got a dominating win, 20-2 against Lady Silver in Logic. Ouch. That is a beating. A 20-5 over Skywork in Mind Tricks. And in gold, he has this close win, 20-16 over Rethink in Mind Tricks as well. But we'll move on to Melvin. Why is Melvin higher than Morphod? Because Melvin beat Morphod 20-16 in Take 2. He's played 18 games in the last month, undefeated against Silver, and a threatening score on Jedi Luke in the Diamond tier, 18-20 in Take 2, one of Melvin's favorite levels. Soldier had been top gold for a while, but he had actually been at the top of the ladder for a while, but a little bit of losses last week, and then he's sitting at number 7 right now, but he does have a dominating win versus Silver Pilot Lee, 20-1 in Black Rose. And then number 5, Vaniac, 17 games in the last month. He's got, he hasn't done anything in the lower tiers, but it's Diamond where he's making his noise. 2 close games, 16-20 loss to Jedi Luke in Audacity X2, 15-20 against Jedi Luke in Ascend, and this is a dark horse, the Diamond Dark Horse against Jedi Luke, 20-17 in Audacity X2. Seems Audacity might be a bit of a trap level for Jedi Luke. We'll see if he can learn that level and maybe bring it back. Another person making a lot of noise. How about Rethink? Playing 34 games in the last month, 1-on-1 against Gold, including an overtime win, 23-21 against Vaniac in that same level, Audacity X2, and a 2-25 record in Diamond. Let's talk about his close games. 17-20 loss against Jedi Luke and Logic, 18-20 in Audacity X2, 16-20 in Salute X2, 16-20 in Logic, and an amazing overtime game, 26-28. Unfortunately, coming out as a loss in Ascend X2, but still a threatening score. But there were two dark horses on Jedi Luke, including a 20-16 win on Audacity and a 20-13 win in Crimson X3. Moving on to the top of the gold, and what could possibly be one of the better games of the week, could have been up there again in any other week for game of the week. This is not going to happen. We already talked about her overtime win over Lotharbot, but she has 11 games, 1-9 versus Diamond, including two threatening scores: 16-20 versus Jedi Luke in Logic X2, 15-20 versus Mark 39-2 in Audacity, and Dracona has finally pulled the trigger and gotten her first win over Mark 39-2, 20-18 on Audacity. Congratulations to Dracona. She is at the top of gold for now. Moving on to Diamond, and there is one man at the top of the ladder right now, Mark 39-2. Dominating Silver like crazy, 20-5 over Firex and Mindtrix, 20-2 over Lee and Eris, 20-2 over Lady Silver and Logic, 20-5 over Firex and Mindtrix, and 20-4 over Lee in Mark's home level of Forte No Missiles. Versus Gold, he did have one close win over Dracona, 2015 in Audacity, but a bunch of dominating wins, a couple against Dracona here, 20-6 in Forte No Missiles, 20-10 in Mindtrix, and 20-7 in Ascend. Also picking up dominating wins, 20-7 versus Melvin in Take 2, and 20-9 over Vaniac in Skunk. Of note, that 20-7 win over Melvin, 15 suicides. That's a lot of suicides. And he's also 4-0 versus fellow Diamond pilot Jedi Luke, including two close games, 20-15 with 5 suicides in Salute X2, and possibly this is the game that got everyone talking. This is the game that that I featured on my channel last week. We had a 21-19 overtime win with 9 suicides in a 70-minute game versus Jedi Luke in Nysa. That is our game of the week. Retiring this week, Jedi Luke, playing 84 games in the last month. We'll see it back soon, as soon as you get over your fear of wireless. With dominating wins, 20-0 shutout against Naleski in Audacity, 20-0 shutout against Maestro in Logic, 20-1 over Ernie 39-2 in Wrath X5, 20-1 over Lee in Mega Logic, 20-2 over Swarthy in Logic, 20-5 over Hyper in Wrath, 20-5 over Hyper in Take 2 X2, 20-3 in Hyper versus Hyper in Logic, 20-5 win over Lee in Ascend X2, a 20-1 win over Lee in Ascend X2, a 20-5 win over Lee in Logic X2, and a 22 win over Lady Silver in Logic. Moving on to Gold, a ton of dominations here. He was 41-3 versus Gold this week, and more than half of them were dominations. 20-6 over Maniac and Logic X2, 20-5 over Rethink and Lurk, 20-6 over Rethink and Ascend, 20-8 over Maniac and Athena, 20-10 over Rethink and Ascend, 20-7 over Bahamut in Audacity X2, 20-5 over Rethink and Logic X4, all followed by a 20-6 win over Rethink in Logic X4. 20-4 over Rethink in Athena X2, 20-8 over Melvin in Athena X2, 20-9 over Melvin in Crimson X3, 20-9 over Melvin again in Logic, 20-5 over Melvin with 2 suicides in Ascend X4, 20-9 over Rethink there in Audacity X2. And all these against Rethink here, 20-7 in Mindtrix X2, 20-9 in the Mindtrix X2, 20-9 in Wrath X5, 20-10 in Crimson X3, and 20-10 in Logic X2. So, Jedi Luke not going out with a lot of dominations. It wouldn't be a week on the show without Jedi Luke's domination count just going through the roof. But Mark also very deservedly getting a whole bunch of them. No one undefeated on the ladder in the diamond tier this week though. So these heavy hitters definitely not infallible. So maybe we'll see some more upsets over the next few weeks, of course, with the observatory coming back next month, and hopefully we'll see these pilots competing there. And of course, highlight of the week, it's gotta be Mark 39-2 and Jedi Luke 19, 21-19 in Nysa. Those two put on a show, and both of them were very excited at the end of the match. wanting to get this match out there so that people could see it. It was an entertaining match in a level that's it's kind of big, but a lot of people still play it, and there was a lot of very interesting strategy going on, and I mean, there were suicides early. There were 8 suicides before someone hit 5 points. It was a crazy game, and those two definitely put on a show. So if you missed that, we're going to be uploading that to YouTube a little later on this week. So that's just going to about do it. So if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or confessions, you can email us over at emails@selfdestructsequence.org. And make sure to note if you want us to read your name or handle so that we can make fun of you by name, or if we just make fun of you anonymously. That's just the way it goes. Other contact information, you can find us over at Facebook and here on Twitch using the term SDS Podcast. And on Twitter, you can find us at SDS_activated. You can also find us on our website at selfdestructsequence.org. Be sure to check out our podcast over on iTunes, which is woefully out of date. We might fix that at some point. Give us a rating and review. Subscribe to our podcast as well. Those are the best things you can do to help us out there. And if you or someone you love wants to get back into the game, go check us out on the Descent Champions ladder. It's descentchampions.org/new_player.php, where you can find all the information that you need to get back into the modern game. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to watch Facebook for our next stream announcement, and hopefully we'll see you there. See you, bye.